Hi guys, welcome back to At Home with Holly. My name's Holly. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Today is the end of October and it's garlic time. It was probably garlic time about a week or two ago, but as long as you plant it within this window of end of, for my area in Northwest Ohio, zone 6, as long as you plant it end of October, even kind of the very first week of November, you're good to go. So I've planted it like the second week of October, a couple years in a row. And then last year I planted it like October 10th. And I think my garlic was too big. It's okay that it sprouts, but it was a little too big. So this year I wanted to wait closer to the end of October. And then I got busy. And today is the last day of October. So we're going to get it in the ground. So I've got some bulb fertilizer that we're going to plant. Put in the ground with the garlic. I've got my garlic all separated because it is extremely windy outside today. And I'm hoping because I'm going to be like behind my privacy fence, you guys will still be able to hear me. So that is the plan. That is the goal. If not, then I'll have to kind of talk over and explain what's going on. So we have 2 beds that we're going to be planting with garlic. One of them is going to be hardneck garlic. And then the second bed is going to be elephant garlic and our shallots. So we're going to be planting 2 beds worth. So let me grab our supplies and we will get outside. I'm so glad that you're here. While I'm grabbing supplies, let me catch you up on what's been happening the last 2 weeks. So I did take some time to take down all of our tomato plants. We did have our first frost, so those plants are all taken down and the tomatoes are finished ripening inside on my kitchen counter. I removed all the stakes. I topped off the bed with fresh compost, and now we are ready to go with garlic. All right, it is super windy, so I'm gonna try to do my best, but I'm putting humic acid and azomite down on both of the beds, just to give them some feed and nutrition and help build healthy soil for over the winter. A lot of people think that we're feeding the plants, but we're feeding the soil, and the soil feeds the plants. So I'm going to put some humic acid and azomite. So I take every bed when I'm done growing in the summer and I top it off with fresh compost. Compost is perfectly pH balanced. It's wonderful for feeding the soil. I do choose to add a little bit more humic acid and azomite because I think it helps with the beneficial bacteria and it helps with all the good things that are happening in the soil. I am going to use a fertilizer that already has some of that in it, but I don't mind giving a little bit of extra. Now this is totally optional. You don't have to use this little dibber dabber thing that I use, but I'm doing it because I know how many cloves of garlic and how many shallots I have, and so I want to count it out to make sure that I have room for all of them in this bed. And then I end up doing the same thing on the other bed too when we get to that bed, just because I know how many cloves I have. And so I want to make sure they're all going to fit, but totally not necessary. You can just take your fingers and push the garlic cloves right into the ground. But this is just my way of making sure that I have enough space for everything that I want to plant. Okay, so I'm going to be adding Bulb Plus, which is a fertilizer from M.I. Gardner. And it's got a whole bunch of awesome stuff in it: bone meal, rock phosphate, green sand, gypsum, humic acid, Epsom salt, and sulfur. Sulfur is so important when you're planting bulbs because you don't want them to rot. So this is a really good organic, all-purpose, slow-release fertilizer that already has the sulfur right inside. So I'm going to go ahead and get this spread out in the bed, and then we'll start planting garlic and shallots. Okay, I'm going to start out with our elephant garlic bulbs. Anytime you plant garlic, you want it to be flat side down, pointy side up. And what you're going to do just for an example, you're going to take it and you're going to shove it down in the soil where just the little tip is showing and kind of scratch it and cover it up. I'm going to start on the other end. We're going to get all our elephant garlic planted on that end and our shallots planted on this end. So when you're growing garlic, you can grow hardneck or softneck garlic, and it is exactly like it sounds. In the middle of the head of garlic, in between all the cloves, there is either a very hard stem, which would be the hard neck, or there is a soft stem that kind of collapses and is flimsy. If you do the hard neck, if you choose to grow the hard neck, you actually escape a long stem that has kind of grows up and then curls at the top is called a garlic scaping. That's the bonus product that you get from growing a hardneck garlic. And so elephant garlic is not, funny enough, is not actually garlic. It is actually part of the leek family, but it tastes exactly like garlic. And if you've ever purchased chopped garlic from the grocery store, they make that out of elephant garlic, so it tastes exactly like a nice mild garlic. The cloves are large and easy to peel, and you do get a scape. So you do get that bonus product as well. You get the scape. The other thing about growing elephant garlic is wherever you plant it once, you probably will have it there forever and ever. So, and I don't mind that. I knowingly plant, knowing that that will happen, because as the elephant garlic grows, it also produces these little corms on the bottom underneath the bulb under the ground. And so wherever those are, they will form a whole nother head of garlic, elephant garlic, the next year. And so I grew elephant garlic in this bed, on this half of the bed last season, and there were a ton of corms left behind and some extras that I threw in just to make sure we got bonus ones. So I am totally okay with that. I love the idea of it reseeding itself, and so we're just always going to have elephant garlic in this bed, but that is why I'm not spreading it out from bed to bed to bed. I'm growing elephant garlic in this bed, and I'm going to continue to grow it in this bed. A lot of the times people talk about rotating crops. That is necessary to do when you are a large scale farmer, when you are planting the same thing again and again and not feeding the soil in between crops. And also if you're not using seed garlic that has been certified to not have diseases. And so my original garlic was planted without the diseases, and so we're just replanting from that same group, and so we're not having to worry about any diseases or bad growth things happening. So as long as you amend the soil and you are a small at-home gardener, then you do not have to worry about rotating crops. You can if you want to, but I choose not to because I want these to reproduce and the corms to be able to grow and keep having more and more elephant garlic, because it is my favorite to grow since it's so easy to peel. And if you've ever had a day where you had to peel a whole lot of garlic, eventually your fingers kind of get sore and your hands are sticky. And so having larger cloves is an awesome benefit. So we are going to take our shallots that we grew and do the exact same thing. So we planted these from seed in the spring, and they grew into bulbs, and we let all the necks dry and flop over, and then we harvested them all, separated them, and we've been eating off them, but then you can replant them. So for every one you plant, they multiply. So in our area, we plant them in the fall, and you plant them in the ground just the same way that you would the garlic. You stick them down about an inch covered in soil, and then they start to sprout, and then in the spring they will grow and multiply bulbs. And I love having shallots in the ground. So there we go. We'll get the second bed planted. This was our elephant garlic and shallots. Now we're going to get the second bed planted with regular hardneck garlic. So one of the other things to keep in mind when you're choosing the garlic that you're going to plant is when choosing between the hardneck or the soft-necked garlic. Hardneck, generally speaking, are easier to peel. They tend to have a slightly larger cloves than the softneck. You do get that flowering scape, which is the garlic scape that you get to have a second use out of. However, they do not store for as long as soft-neck garlic. So if you're looking for long-term storage for fresh garlic, soft-necked is probably a better option. Also, the hardneck garlic is better for colder climates. So if you live in southern climates, usually you're going to be choosing the soft-neck garlic, and those of us in the northern climates are going to be choosing the hardneck. So lots of things to keep in mind. Do your research before you pick. All right, this first row I'm doing northern white garlic. These first couple rows are the new seed that I purchased this year. But after that, everything else is seed that we saved from last year. I only purchased these because these are notorious for having very large cloves. And that's what I want. The larger the cloves you plant, the larger the cloves that grow. So I save the ones every year that are the biggest and replant those so that eventually everything we have are large cloves. All right, then I've got 12 cloves of music, and then the rest will be what we saved, which a lot of which were the music. Okay, my friends, I'm hiding from the wind, but we got it done. We planted 2 beds full of garlic and shallots. I'm super excited about these. These are some of my favorite things to plant. I cook with garlic and onions and shallots pretty much every meal that's not a dessert. So I love being able to grow from what we've saved and grow organic, homegrown, know where it comes from, garlic and shallots and onions here. Now it is starting to rain a little bit. It is time for me to go inside, so I'm going to pack up all of these wrappers and boxes and get inside. I want to thank you guys so much for all the likes and the comments and the shares. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We have a whole lot more growing and preserving and garden projects to do. We've got to button up all these beds for winter and button up the chicken coop and just a whole bunch more projects. So can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye, friend.